Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogi Monster here. Welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF as I like to call it. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. I know it just started. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Who we got here tonight? Got a bunch of people here already. I like that. 20 before I even get here. That's awesome. You guys are amazing. So let's just start. I'll probably miss some people. Mike's Adventure. What's happening, man? Lockbeard, what's going on? Blue-Eyed Northern, good to see you. Hey, Jenny. Mr. Lee 3PO, what's up, buddy? How's things across the pond? Everything cool over there? Rex Goodrum. Sandy Clemens, how are you, hon? By the way, guys, if you are expecting, I think Larry and I don't know if Cheese is here yet, but if you guys are expecting a coffee mug from the raffle, they were shipped out yesterday. Thank you, Sandy, for doing that. I know, I think almost everything's been shipped out, except the one thing that I have to take care of. Who else is here? I know. Sandra Piper, what's up? Hoosier, what's going on, man? Paul, what's happening? That's one funny dude. Yeah, Paul's a pisser. I'm sure I missed somebody. Emma Johnson, how's it going, hon? What's going on? What's new with me? I went up to, I guess we went on Friday. This was interesting, kind of cool. We went on Friday, Lynn and I, we went up to her property up in about 3 hours from here. And it's a cool little piece of property. You know, it's right on this little river, which is actually called the Little Withlacoochee. Fucking Indian names get me every time. Withlacoochee. Little Withlacoochee, yeah. It's only about a 16-mile river, and it's actually one of those rare rivers that flows south to north. But her property is right on this river, and it's in the middle of friggin' nowhere. I mean, it really is. A stone's throw away there's about 20,000 acres. There's a wildlife management area. I think that's called Croon, Croon. You can look it up. And then not far from that is Rich Loam Wildlife Management Area. That's another almost close to 60,000 acres. There is just shit ton of property there. It's pretty cool. So the way the river runs through the property, it just snakes. It's these tight turns, and right across. It's not big river. It's not wide. I'm fishing. I'm down on the bank and I'm fishing. You got to kind of climb down there and just pulling in these little bluegills. And Lynn is up on the bank to my right, and she's sitting at the table. She's standing there, and I'm fishing. I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. And right in front of me, there's a tree across the river. I'm looking down, and all you hear is this huge crack. And it's a limb snapping. And I'm fishing. I hear this, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And I look up, and I'm actually disappointed, because the limb was falling from the top of the tree. It wasn't low enough where you would have been like, oh shit, what did that? No, this was gravity. But as soon as it hit the ground, I was like, I didn't do it. But it was loud, and it was just funny, the reaction, because my first thought was, here we go. And look up, and it's coming from the top of the tree, and it was like, damn it. Actually disappointed. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool piece of property. Tomorrow, probably, I don't know when we're going to get out of here. Probably be a little before noon. Got all these flyaways. We're going to go back up to the property where we did the expedition. I want to go try and debunk those lights, and so tomorrow's the day. I'm going to go up there and we'll stay after dark, and I'll get into those woods. I don't care if I'm in there by myself and she's driving the car. I got to figure this out, but going to do that tomorrow. So this, I got a call the other day. This is interesting. You guys remember I talk about my ex-roommate now, how we had known each other for 10 years, and it wasn't until he moved in or was about to move in that I find out that he's in the Sasquatch, like he's out squatching. And he's had some, audio stuff. He's heard stuff, and but hadn't seen anything. So he's the one. He's the one who pinned that pile of shit for me. You guys remember the shit I talk about? Well, he's the one who found it, or his buddy found it, and he sent me the pin. So Sunday morning, I'm out back. I'm sitting by the pool. I'm having a cigarette. It's about 8:00, and my phone rings. And see who it is. It's my former roommate from Arizona. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Hello? You do the back and forth. Can you hear me? Looking at the phone and get on the phone again. He's like, yeah, I hear you fine. I said, okay, dude, you all right? I said, what's up? And I could tell right off, as soon as he started talking, something wasn't right. So I'm like, dude, you all right? He's quiet. And then he's like, yeah, I saw one. I saw two. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? He goes, I've been doing this shit for 10 years, but I never thought that I'd see one. I said, you saw a squatch? He goes, yeah, I saw two, apparently. And I'm going to get him on. I'm going to get him on. Right now he's back on the road, but he was fishing in the desert. Yes, there are fish in the desert in Arizona. And he was just, he was about 1,000 yards below a dam. The dam is Bartlett Lake on the other side, and then there's a river, it's the runoff. And he was fishing with his buddy. And yes, I have permission to tell this story. And hey, Judy, what's up, Sean? So he's fishing with his buddy on the river, and he happens to glance up to the left or right or wherever. He looks up. And down this trail, or just coming down the hill, it's not even a trail. It's like a steep thing. He sees two people. He thought, it was getting dark. And he sees two people, he thinks. And he's like, one's bigger than the other. And he thought it was like a father and son in like ghillie suits or something. He didn't realize, he's looking, can't figure it out. So, he's watching this thing, and these things coming down the hill, and he asked his buddy, you see these people? He's like, yeah, but so he yells to them. He goes, hey, we're fishing down here, because he thought maybe they were hunting. He goes, we're fishing down here, and with that, he just before, when he said this, they squatted down, but just before they squatted down, he had gotten a better look because it had gotten closer. And he goes, dude, I realized what it was. And ladies, forgive me. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to say breasts. He said, Russell, it had tits. I'm like, yeah. Female. He goes, no, dude. And he tried to describe a National Geographic to describe it. And I'm like, yeah, well, they have them. It was probably, uh, obviously a female and probably juvenile, but it it changed him. I mean, he came to that realization of holy shit, they exist, because he said, he goes, how he said, I believe this, I thought they existed and everything, but I never. He was the skeptic, even though he got out there and squatched. And he said, he goes, what are they? How are they just walking around out there? I said, that's what they do, man. I said, you're all right with this, and I was making sure he was cool, and I said, listen, dude, and this is the kicker, is he saw this. They, like I said, he said, we're fishing here, and they squatted down, like the big one kind of scooched the other one behind it, and they just squatted, didn't move, just blended in, looked like a tree stump. He said it got dark, and then he heard them move, but didn't see anything. His buddy left that night, and he ended up staying out at the camp. He camped out by himself, and he didn't have his phone with him. So when he finally got back to his phone a day and a half later, I'm the first one he calls. He's like, I don't know who else to call about this, dude. I'm like, no, I'm glad you did, man. I said, but listen, don't, you're okay with this. You saw it, it exists. You believed in him. It was part of your paradigm. I mean, yeah, your paradigm shifted to you went from a believer to a knower, and he's still freaked out about it. I said, but don't let this change you. Don't let this define you, man. Don't let it keep you out of the woods. It wasn't a bad experience. I said, you got through this, you saw it, they went away, and it wasn't a bad thing. And he kept saying, it wasn't what I expected. I don't know what he was expecting. He said something from the movies. He expected something probably, more traumatic. I said, but don't let it keep you out of the woods. Don't let it keep you from doing things you love to do, like fish. I said, now they're out there. So, but you fall off the bicycle, you get back on it. So, like I said, I got in touch with him and made sure that he was cool with me, relaying this story, and he was. And he wants to come on, but he's on the road right now. He's doing some trucking. And Chopper, what's going on, man? Hey, Papa, Craig, Sharon, hi, Linda. So I'll get him on soon. Really, really cool that he got in touch with me, and I'm glad I could sort of be there. I mean, that's pretty traumatic, experience. And it was it was an interesting conversation. I wasn't sure how to react, and I think I handled it pretty friggin' well, considering I was in his shoes. I am in his, well, where he was up until 4 days ago. Dawn of the Dead, what's up, man? Mark Dodman, good day. Who else is here? Judy, I think I said hi. Scotty B, Patrick Vaughn. You know what, Patrick? You're right, dude. Patrick Vaughn says, the very real possibilities of what could happen to you are the most disturbing. Absolutely. But, we face that possibility every day when we walk out our front door that something might happen to us. Why let it keep you out of the woods? What else? Hey, Cashew. Who else? else is here? Seven Pearls. Murray, what's up? Randy Mahoney. Great to see you guys. Excuse me. So yeah, it he's in the other camp now. He's a knower. So yeah, I'm happy for him. And this was weird because as we're talking, he tells me all this, and in the same breath, he turns around and he says, and that whole Skinwalker thing, I don't believe in that whole transformation thing. And as soon as he got that out of his mouth, and now I'm on the phone with him, the dogs go nuts and they start fighting. And I'm like, hold on, dude. And I'm like yelling at the dogs, trying to tear them apart. And I go back and he's gone. So I hadn't spoken with him, and I texted him and he hadn't gotten back to me. And then I texted him and said, hey, can I use your story? He said, yeah. So, but it was weird. As soon as he mentioned the Skinwalker thing, the dogs went nuts. Murray, my friend, my former roommate, had a sighting 4 days ago in Arizona, and it's just it it tripped him out because it had breasts, and that's how I think that was the convincing. It wasn't a hoax, it wasn't a prank, it was something with breasts. And he kept saying tits. And I didn't correct him because it's his story, and, who am I to say that? But yeah, I think that was the deciding factor. That sealed it for him, and that he really knew what he saw was real. So hopefully I'll get him on soon. Who else is in here? I just saw Katie G. How are you? Is Mark in here? Sawdust Beast, what's up, man? So yeah, Mark, I'm going up to the property tomorrow. I'm going to try to debunk those lights. Also, I want to go look at. There were some controlled burns up there. I want to see what kind of condition the property is in. Not that it matters. It really doesn't matter. I think controlled burns are just buffer zones. But by November, that shit's going to grow up. So it'll be back. I'm not worried about it. It's just interesting. All right. Patrick says you feel very alone with one right there in front of you. No doubt, dude. I don't doubt that for a minute. And probably feel very small too, both figuratively and literally. It's got to be a humbling experience. So, guys, I have nothing going on tonight. No plans. So, if anybody wants to jump on tonight, feel free. I'll put the link in chat. Simple enough, and it seems to be working. Another interesting little thing that just happened recently. I became a worm farmer. Well, Lynn became a worm farmer. I guess I'm a worm farmer too. I live here. She ordered a bunch of bedding and 100 worms, and I put a bed together for them and got them in there, and I got some European night crawlers going, and then today we got some 250 red wigglers. So I made up a bed for those guys, and I want to get some Canadian night crawlers. I don't ask, but I'm going with it. I like farming worms. So yeah, let me post this. There it is. Someone from chat that hasn't ever been on WTF, jump on with Mogs. And that's coming from Mark. Yeah, guys, and that's why I started this show. This is for you guys. It's to hear your stories. You know, um, Remiel, hi, good to see you. Overbuilt, what's happening? So yeah, I mean, like I said, that's why I created this, is because we're here, not here, but on YouTube. I'm in chats and other channels, and we're all here for the same reason, I'm assuming. Because we have these different stories. Why are we all attracted to the paranormal or Bigfoot or UFOs or the fringe in general? What is it that mine was paranormal. I had experiences in the paranormal, and never would be here if I didn't stumble upon Bigfoot, or Sasquatch Chronicles, and hearing all those stories, and then Paranormal Portal, and just seeing the same people all the time. You guys are family. I want to know my family. I want to get to know my brothers and sisters, and what's your story? So that's why I started this. Is why are we here? Why WTF? Why the fascination? So you're feeling froggy, jump on. I know people get Flat Rock Booger. What's up? People get shy. um, it's and once you're on and you're talking, we start talking to each other. It's easy to forget about everybody else. Yeah, man, shit got real for my friend. It became real, literally. Mogs. No worries, Overbuilt. Overbuilt's got a toothache. And then we know, C3PO is just pussy. I love fucking with him. I'm just kidding, buddy. Western New York Bigfoot Research Organization, what's up? You know what, dude? He says, yeah, I've had people tell me some interesting encounters over the years. Yeah, and that's me hearing people's encounters, firsthand, like from Sasquatch Chronicles, just really blew me away, and that's what hooked me on this subject. Because I just re-listened to one of my favorite episodes today. I don't think Lynn had ever heard it before. It's episode 515. I Shouldn't Be Alive. And that is where this woman originally, like, she's from England, but she was working in California. She went to photograph some sea otters and ran into these things. She saw them go through the woods, 5 of them, a male, 2 females, and 2 kids, and go, to the beach. So she sneaks up behind and is watching them, and she drops the camera lens, and all shit breaks loose. But that's her telling that story is that's my favorite story to hear. Felix, what's happening, man? You know what? Felix might have a point. I think there are folks out there with clear video and photos that just don't want to deal with the heartache or the headache it will cause to come forward. And I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's stellar fucking movies out there and videos and everything. All right. Put the link again in chat. Yeah, if you've never come on before, hop on. I mean, it's pretty harmless. I'm sorry, I'm just reading some comments. Yeah, hit that like button, would you? Thanks, Linda. This should be interesting. What's up, Paul? Did I wake you? You there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I'm in slow motion, man.
Why's that?
Have no idea. Trying to figure it out myself.
Just in one of those moods?
No, not at all, dude. Just figured I'd pop on, say hello, since nobody
Man, I
else.
appreciate it.
Since nobody else wants to. I mean, I know I'm ugly and all, but I do love you.
Oh. Overbuilt says Mokes is not bite unless you're a cute gal. LOL.
Yeah, I guess I'm losing on boat counts because I have a Tootsie Roll. I have.
I'm not biting. Scotty B, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's up, Paul?
Hey, Scotty, man, look at you with your beard.
Yo,
why don't you?
Had to drag my old ass on here.
Right on. We got.
I can look as cute as Paul does.
Oh,
all right. I'm gonna bring one more on.
I hit the other stick a million.
Craig, what's happening?
Not much. What are you guys doing?
Not too much, man.
Oh, here we go. Here's the looker right here.
Yeah, so I thought I'm glad my friend let me share that story about him running into seeing two Sasquatch the other day. That was pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to him coming on. So, Scotty, where are you coming from?
Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty wild. Wisconsin.
Yeah, I wanted to get him on tonight, but he said he was on the road. See that, Mark? So as B says, show just ramped up.
Yeah, apparently.
So, Papa Craig, where did I just see you recently? You were talking with Duke or somebody, weren't you?
I was doing that.
How'd that go?
I think it went well.
Yeah. So you won that prize to go hang out with him, right?
Oh, dude,
yeah, awesome. I got to turn this off.
You get an echo?
Yeah, I had a reverb here too.
Hold on. Let me take care of
that. I thought you were going to eject me.
There you go, Moggs. Trying to get comfortable here.
That?
Not too easy.
Worked good for me.
Okay, check 1, 2. Any echoes?
Nope. Sounds good here.
Perfect.
Sounds awesome.
I should have known better. I hate wearing these things, so I see how long I can get away with it.
That's right, Moggs. I was going to put on a headband for you.
Oh, man.
Well, I got long enough hair, but I tie it back.
Yeah, you know what?
I want to give Paul some. I'm going to get my hair cut and I'll send it to Paul.
I can use all the hair you're going to give me and give me a pink bandana so it can be in support of them squatch boobies Mogs was talking about. I'm all for that shit. Come on now.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that was he kept pointing that out. He's like, dude, it had tits. It had tits.
Well,
I'm like, well, they said they have those, man. He goes, but they were like what? Used and abused? I said, yeah, dude. He just was like, I said, you've been doing this longer than me. I just got into this. I said, you've been doing this for 10 years, and now, and
Oh,
he
sorry.
goes, yeah, but I didn't. I guess I didn't believe they were out there. Yeah, where he believed and he didn't believe. He believes now.
Well, the first one I saw was in 1979. I was bull hunting, and I saw a deer coming out through the clearing, and I stood up, and that's when we had recurve bows yet. And I stood up, and this big scream shot out at me. I turned, and he's about 75 yards away from me. And I fell out of the tree stand, pissed in my pants, the whole shit.
Wow.
Almost got the arrow in me.
Sorry, Scotty, not to laugh. I just think that shit's mad funny.
Yeah. I fell out of
Somebody's got their
Don't make me laugh. It hurts.
Tree stand
pissed in my pants, the whole shit.
All right, who's got their YouTube on?
Almost got the arrow. I don't.
All right, because I'm getting an echo, or there's a.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, it's the delay. It's all right. It's all right.
That's right, Papa. Stay on.
It's all good, man.
Oh, okay.
It's all good, man.
There
He's got to set the mood.
I won't be able to stay on very long. I can't sit like this too long.
Oh, no worries, man. Thanks for coming on, Scotty. Really.
Yeah, I figured the hell with it. I tell everybody I look like too wild to come on, but I just had to come on. And if Paul can do it, I sure the hell
can. Absolutely.
Dude, if people can fucking listen to me and deal with my ass, dude, you got it made, kid. You got it made.
Well, you're funny as hell, Paulie. So
Yeah.
Oh, because I try to be. Some people don't get the satire, the humor.
You gotta nowadays.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, right. And
You're great, Paulie.
Show.
If you can't laugh, don't be on this earth.
Oh my God, shit. Every morning when I wake up, I look in the mirror and go, dude, what the fuck? It's not what's the fascination, it's what the fuck, man. Really, you're a mess.
So Scotty, when this thing screamed, I got sidetracked.
Yeah, I only saw him for a couple seconds there, and I fell out of the tree stand, and I had left my arrows up in the tree because I had them in a quiver at that time.
Because you fell.
Yeah, I didn't go back and get him. I got the hell out of there. But he had screamed one other time when I was about a ways away from him. I heard him again. So
Scotty, if you were Inspector Gadget and you said, go.
You got to use a better 2 cans and a string there, Paul.
Yeah, that pony.
Yeah, Paul, you're coming
up
on.
Again.
Yeah.
Sometimes in a string. We got to get them 2 cans and a new string.
Not to laugh. I just think that shit's mad funny.
Somebody's got to don't make me laugh. It hurts. Yeah.
Somebody's got
the echo on.
Yeah, somebody's replaying this.
Not I.
Can't be me.
I think it's Paulie.
Paulie's not even.
Well, he's lost in space now.
Yeah, let me take him down and
put Papa back up.
Oh, I didn't do that. Oops. I took the wrong one down. There's
Miss Pearls. How you doing, Miss Pearls?
I'm doing good tonight. Yeah, Patrick.
Good evening.
Patrick is in the bathtub and he's just too chicken to come on tonight. So Patrick, I dare you to get dressed and come on in. Okay.
If I can do it, anybody can.
That's right.
Papa Craig, I didn't mean to click you off. So if you want to come back on, just click back on, man. So how are you, Pearls?
Well, I'm hanging in there. Some days I'm barely dangling, but I'm hanging in there tonight.
Just make sure you tie a big knot at the end of that rope and hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, do I have to braid my hair while I'm at it? Okay. Moggs, my heart goes out to you because part of me really knows that you probably really wanted to be beside your friend during that sighting.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been amazing.
And for your dogs to go wacko when you mentioned the name that you mentioned.
Yeah,
shortly.
but it wasn't. It was like my dog and her dog got into a fight as soon as I mentioned that, and I had to I just started yelling at the dogs, and he hung up. But it was weird.
Do you think the dogs sensed something outside, or were they just having a riff?
No, they were just getting into it. I just thought it was a coincidence, that the timing was spot on.
And
where the hell was
Polly,
Coolio when everybody said, "Come along and ride on this magic hairy booby ride, slippity slide"? I want to know where everybody was, man. I need to know. Inquiring.
Paul, you don't need to smoke anything.
Well, now look, I wore my hat tonight, and I'm not putting on my boots. It's too hot.
Oh, thank God you guys, you got the tuxedo thing I'm wearing here for a meeting. Other than that,
Whereas that's my last name. Quit using it.
Scotty, dude, you're awesome.
Moggs, can I clarify something I may have said that I don't want taken wrong? I want to clarify that I don't dispute the human DNA findings, okay? But I also, my biggest problem is, okay, fine. They're in the human genome somewhere, but my biggest mind baffling is, okay, explain to me the beast. There's not anything on this planet can compare that DNA to, the part that isn't human.
Great point, Pearl. Great point.
So
nobody got no answers for that.
And I'm getting, and I understand that some people's minds cannot grasp a hold of any sort of paranormal aspect to the beings that they're coming across. And I get it, and until somebody actually witnesses something paranormal going on during the time of one of their sightings, then they're going to stand strong with the human DNA findings and that they're another race of people. Okay, fine. All right. And they're highly intelligent. Okay. There's so many things that we've noted from so many other people's encounters. And, a lot of us are armchair surfers. We surf around to different channels and sites. I find it very interesting to hear other people's encounters, and if Polly and Scotty, if y'all have some to share, please do, and there's people in chat, right now that some have actually, and being a knower is not exactly a fun thing. To some, I guess it's an adrenaline rush, and to some of it's a bad flashback.
Well, I think that he kind of took it. I don't know.
That's all it was.
It scared him. It definitely scared him because he was like, "How are they walking around out here?" I'm like, "That's what they do."
What do they do? Fly?
Well, I was. That would have been my wise ass remark. Would have been, "Well, it's because they can't fly."
Well, I mean,
What I wanted to say, Pearl, you have all these DNA, all this DNA collected, and they have nothing to compare it to. Well, why don't they compare it to each other? Like all these unknowns, start comparing them to each other. Maybe you'll
Yeah,
find
but
something.
they don't want any of that out.
I'm just saying,
the
don't tell me
government
you don't have
knows
anything to
there.
compare it to. You got tons of shit to compare it to.
Right.
Just
Well,
because it doesn't have a name, it has a number. I don't care if number 5 is compared to number 10. You know what I'm saying?
Really, just
right.
number 10?
Okay. Conglomerate all the samples and yes, start comparing. And yeah, why is it nobody's really studying all of that? That's a very good point.
Well, because they stopped at number 10 and nobody's comparing the glitter. So I just don't know. I want to embarrass the warden right now and go in her room while she's sleeping, and she'd be like, "Dude, that'd be so funny. I'd be so dead, but I'd never do that."
Yeah, I'm waiting for the frying pan to hit you over the head.
Don't worry, it ain't coming. I already took care of that. She got 87s right from the beginning. She's like, "Oh, what's this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a cheese dip." Bye. Night, sleep tight.
Gene has a very good point.
Yeah, Gene Hudson says it's one thing to research and not see. It's another thing to be relaxing and they're right in front of you. He wasn't expecting that sighting, but what he had going for him is it was part of his paradigm. He was actively searching at other times, in the past 10 years for these creatures, so he had a knowledge of them. If it was someone else who didn't, the sighting might have been a little more traumatic, I think.
Moggs,
Yeah,
were they in the water or what?
Excuse me?
Were they in the water?
No, they were walking down a hill. They were across the stream. What's up, Patrick?
How's it going?
They had marshmallows and fucking Hershey bars and graham crackers. They were making s'mores, waiting for the humans to go to bed. No, I'm kidding. I'm trying to be funny, but yeah. In all honesty, they present themselves to who they want to see them. This is what I get from it.
Yeah, you have to have a clear head.
No, I think these two made a mistake and didn't realize that they were there. And
yeah, they were probably youngins, Mogs. We all made them fucking mistakes. We ain't teaching them nothing. 7 times over. Nope, not happening. We all been dumb, but I think that you have to be of good heart. You know what I mean? You have to have a lot of things going for you to have this happen to you. They choose you. You don't choose them. You can look for them all fucking day long. You ain't gonna see it. Hey, good luck. It's like trying to hit Powerball. I got $1 million. You need 2. It's just not gonna happen.
I don't know.
They show themselves to you.
Right.
I mean? You gotta be of the right. You gotta kind of be of the right cloth. You know what I mean? People that see them. I mean, yeah, we have tools. We have flares. We have all this other stuff, and you have a groups that go out like you guys did on 168. I told you, go out, experience that, enjoy it, right? You did. You got a taste. You all like, yeah, I'm going to do this over and over again, right? And that's what it is. I mean, not everybody gets that, man. You guys are privileged to see that, You got to be worthy, I guess. It's kind of like, we're not worthy.
Or cursed.
Man, whatever. But
out of my 3 sightings, I don't think I was cursed at all.
No, not at all. Dude, it's like when Kerry was like, the first time I met Kerry, I was talking to him. I was listening to the Shutter. Then I found Bigfoot Odyssey, right? I'm like, this fucking dude sounds familiar. Who is this guy? And I'm like, oh my God, he's a Shutter dude. Right? And then it's like, and everything makes sense. You have to, everything happens for a reason, I guess, right? That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. You have to be there. You have to be the person they want you to. They want you to be a participant, whatever it is. That's what it has to be. And there's lots of theories, and there are no experts. We all know shit. Bottom line. Why does a deer shit pellets? Why does an elephant shit patties? Why does a fucking moose shit logs?
It's diet.
You don't know shit about shit because I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know shit about shit.
Johnny Half, what's happening? Long Island
Mr.
Bigfoot.
Johnny Half. Hello. I don't have any. I can't see who's on.
Patrick, spill your beans.
Yeah,
God,
speak up, Patrick. You just
tell the fat kid to shut up.
It's just been a long day and looking forward to going out tracking in south central Arkansas here in a few weeks.
all right on.
Hot
Doing a
spot.
weekend expedition.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is I've been there twice. Once on expedition with the show, and my tracking partner. This is where my tracking partner. I actually watched one in the field walk out there. My tracking partner's elbowed me, going, "There he is!
There he is."
Yeah, we're going back there."
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I know it sounds stupid. People are like, "Oh, you're crazy. Be careful what you wish for." I'm looking forward to seeing one. You know, hopefully, I get that privilege to see one. I have to see it. If I'm gonna know, I have to see it.
Make sure you bring some skivvies along.
Well, I figured if I went commando, I didn't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, well, just shake it down your leg then.
Well,
Polly,
Folks,
it's been my
funny story.
Polly.
Second time I ever got arrested in my life, the guy's like, "Hey, drop trow." He's like, "Who? Commando."
now, Polly. Now you're
it's been my
laughing about
experience.
this.
What's that, Patrick?
It's okay.
Go ahead, Seven.
Well, now Polly's laughing about that, but Polly, just Google the word shittens. There are mittens that are shittens that are great wipes, and if you don't believe me, just Google it.
Didn't say it. Didn't
Great
believe. I was just telling you I got arrested when the
Oh.
detective said, "Hey, drop trow." I wasn't wearing quackers, man. Boom! It was like commando. It is what it is.
I think
What
I
a
have
subject.
All right. Well, all fun and jokes
But-
aside, Patrick, will you tell chat how long you've been researching, how long you've been studying clans and a certain clan, and would you just reveal to us your progress lately, please? I'm dying of curiosity.
I was a naysayer, capital S, skeptic until 2003, when a myth and a wives' tale chased me out of the woods somehow. And then it turned into a phenomenon to me. And then after 8 years of study, I had a third encounter that turned it into a very real being. And then studying it since then, tracking them, really putting together hypotheses and theories and disproven theories on how they use the land, how they're traversing, what they use against us to keep us at bay, keep us from observing them, because there's no chasing one down. To this day, I can't chase one down. You have to get it to come to you for some reason. And the reasons are, its greatest concern is, what does your presence mean to its survival in this area? If you can cause that concern, one's going to come to you and check you out. But only, less than 25% of the time, which is not a great success. But people, I've had people say, "Well, you've had 8 face-to-face encounters," but that's less than 25% of total encounters. Only 25% or less, they chose to reveal themselves during an encounter, which is not a high success rate. But they're a very real being. They're bipedal. They have an extremely high IQ. They have greater eyesight, greater senses than you, and are 2 to 3 times faster than you, and can use topography and their great eyesight to watch you 100 yards away and skirt around you. And if you try to go towards them, all you'll hear is them moving off in the brush. It's like chasing ghosts.
And Patrick, do you think that the ones that you've been studying are different than skunk apes?
I can only talk to what I have witnessed, and I have not witnessed a skunk ape type, I don't think. All the ones that I have encountered, I would say, are all bipedal. Females' foot range runs between 14 and a half and 15 and a half inches, maybe 16 for a big one. Males can run 17 and a half to over 20. I found a 22-inch track in the area. And they're just individuals. You really can't put it in a box. They're as an individual as any one of us. I look different than Mogion, and Mogion looks different than Scotty B. And so they really are their own individuals with their own individual traits and physical characteristics. They have their individual traits, they have individual clan tendencies, due to geographic area. They have their own clan tendencies, but they're physical. They have hair on most of them. Most of all their body, they have hair on them. I think there are individuals that could have less hair. Some could have more.
Like Paulie and me.
They're individual personalities too. It's
like Paulie and me. Paulie lost his hair, and I got a little bit.
Scotty, I didn't lose my hair. I just got tired of cutting that shit, so I keep it tight.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was Jewish and wore a yarmulke, I'd have a little helo in the back here because it would probably still be there. But I'm just telling you, I cut it off. It still grows in, but it's great.
Patrick, how would you feel if you ran across one like I saw when I was a teenager? The one I saw was at least 8 foot tall and very large, and he was very aggressive. He was definitely snapping 3 to 5 inch trees on the way to coming to greet me, so to speak. And he was grunt gruff growling all the way. It wasn't a bluff charge. And I can't wipe the face out of my mind, because unlike a lot of ones that it was similar to a Genasqua, okay, to what is pictured as a Genasqua. However, it had grooves on its cheeks, and they were deep inset grooves on its cheeks. And he showed his teeth, but he didn't show all of his teeth. They weren't all jagged, but I clearly saw canines. And yeah, they were very, very big. And his eyes glowed red. The moonlight was behind him. Okay, and it was full that night, shining down on me. And I was horrified. And it could have just reached right out, and as Mark so not eloquently put it the other night, yes, he could have reached out and squeezed my head off just like it was popping a pimple. But it was very real. And the previous day prior to that, I had been knocked off a tree platform, and I had seen a mirage wave in front of me before it happened. But I was totally coherent. I never passed out. I was 10 feet off a 4x8 sheet of plywood that, I don't know, was about 8 foot in the air on a tree fort stand as a kid. And I wasn't knocked unconscious when I hit the ground, but I never saw what hit me. And so, Patrick, have they been the ones you studied, have they been aggressive with you at all? Have they touched your body? Have they done anything like that?
I've had them be aggressive, but it was because I was being aggressive. Okay, I was being, some of my research in experimental areas, not with my core group. I go in, I know them. We're gentle with each other, but in experimental groups, I don't hold back. I go in knocking, yelling. I'm an asinine person. I try to start off benign, but then I ramp it up until I get the response I want, because I have a camera behind me. They want a response, so I'm pushing until I get yelled at, screamed at, or knocked at. And I've had them go, berserk and rip tree limbs off and throw them at me and growl and scream. But they are a very forgiving being. They are very
Right,
forgiving
Pat,
that I've
can I
noticed.
stop you right there for 1 second? If you knew nothing about these beings, right, and you stepped in and you were the aggressor, and say you had a gun, right, you went out there and you were popping shots at their kids while they're playing in your yard, but you don't know the kids are playing in your yard, right? Could that shape and form, the outcome that you got from them? Where if it was done a little bit different, it could have been more peaceable, more civil, more like, all right, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was intruding on your time because you're on my property and I pay taxes here. You're all eating berries and twigs and don't pay shit about anything, but since you're playing, I'm just going to let you do it. If you stepped upon it that way, could it change the outcome? That's what I'm curious about, because I don't know. I've never done it. I don't know. I've never pissed them off. I don't say, hey, all right, sorry, dude. Hey, you went too far or whatever. I mean,
what was the
we don't
specific
know
question?
this stuff. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Did you have a specific question, Paul?
Yes, most.
Good. Repeat it.
If you were the aggressor in a situation and you appoint their thing, because their thing nobody knows about, they're like the fucking secret agent, man. Nobody knows that shit. If they were doing it on your property and you were the aggressor, would you be the bad guy? Or if the outcome that you received, if you changed a few things and it would be a little more civil, that's what I really want to know.
So you're asking about their perspective versus ours.
Well,
if
their
you're the
perspective
aggressor,
is
Patrick, if you're the aggressor, if you're not, then it's fine. But I'm just saying, if you're scared, you're intimidated, you don't know, and you act out of fear, and you piss them off, are you the bad guy?
Yeah,
Keyword.
I've been the good guy and the bad guy.
Right. That's
okay.
I'm trying to figure out where the Mason-Dixon line is and all that. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. With my group, I'm calm. I'm cool. I track them. If they start yelling, and I know that they're there, I'll stop and slow down and let them choose to come into me, because there's no way I can chase them down.
Do you
And
gift
sometimes
them,
they do, and sometimes they don't.
Patrick,
No,
do you gift
I
them?
do not. No, I do not. What my group got from me was that they have to study humans. Okay, they have to know you and your weaknesses and everything about you in these areas, because these areas are shrinking. And so they got to study me and I got to study them. That's what I take of what they got out of it. Particularly the little one.
Polly, were you asking Patrick that if one charged him and got aggressive and was showing signs that he was going to attack Patrick? Are you really asking the question, what would you do if that happened, Patrick? Is that what you want to know, Polly?
Pearl, no. I was asking if you knew nothing about this, and this shit was totally new to you, and you reacted like a human would, not having any knowledge of this, and you were just being you. What we've been taught our whole life: protect your family, protect your house, protect all of this. and you were doing all of that, they would never understand that. You know what I mean? I just, on the outside looking in, I would think that they wouldn't understand that, just like you wouldn't understand what they do. So you can never come to common ground because you've already stepped off on the wrong foot. You already pissed people off, and they're like, "Oh, hell no."
Well,
No, it's not happening.
actually, these beings are very forgiving. You know, of course, I've never done anything harmful to them other than yell or scream. But as far as perspective goes, their perspective is they are trapped behind enemy lines. If they are seen, people will kill them. They have to know their enemy, which is what we are considered. We are considered that, and they have to know us. They have to observe us and know our weaknesses, because it's their observation of us is an individual study. That individual is studying humans, and their take on humans and how humans get on a trail, go down a trail, hunt a little bit or fish a little bit, and they back on the trail and leave. That's observed behavior that's acceptable. So from a perspective, I look at it from their perspective as primitive survival, because I'm well studied as a primitive
No, you
survival.
fucked up. No, I fucked up. No, you
primitive.
And then it'd be like, all right, yeah, we both fucked up, and everybody'd be happy. I would think that humans would figure that out, but with them, I don't think that's possible. And I like I said, I've never had an experience. I don't want one. I don't want to experience these people. I want them to live in peace and it's all good. But I'm curious at the same time.
Am I breaking up, Moggs? Am I lagged?
No, you're all right.
Yeah, you're a little bit, Patrick.
I mean, a little bit, but not, it's okay.
There's a snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah,
on
sounds
you.
like you got gerbils in your pocket.
What the fuck? I'm eating Rice Krispie treats to have now.
I'm on my phone.
It's not my fault.
Oh,
Okay, well, plug your earphones in.
Oh yeah, if you have earphones, it might help. Unless they're in.
I got them on.
All right.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the.
Plug it into your phone a little better.
It might not be his. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, somebody's got a rattlesnake.
It sounds like somebody typing is what it sounds like, but it's distorted.
it's not me. I
can barely talk. How the fuck am I gonna type?
But but one thing that I've been trying to get out about these things in retrospect, looking back, is that they are a primitive survival being that far outclass us. And to have to go out and solicit an encounter, you have to cause concern about their survival in their area. That's what you have to do, or just be in the right time in the right space.
Or the wrong place at the wrong time.
Patrick, do you remember when I was chatting with you behind the scenes, and a hunter had gone. A hunter had been horrified to no end. You never answered me back as to how you comforted him. Okay, I just vaguely remember you saying something like that, and I want to know how he feels.
That's my son's friend, one of his best friends, and he doesn't go in the woods anymore.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine the same way. He won't go in the woods.
I'm not going in the woods alone.
Well, that's kind of like when my friend told me about his experience, and that was one of the things I said to him. I said, don't let it define you.
No.
Don't let it keep you out of the woods. Don't let it. I mean, you've been going in this long. You've been looking for this thing, so now you finally find one, and fuck.
What I told this kid was, the only thing that is different between today and yesterday is now you know they're there.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's what I told them. They're there. They're not going to hurt you.
Yeah. They were always there before. They're always going to be there afterwards. It's just now you're aware. And now, you need to learn from experience and do things a little better, a little different.
But it took me a while to go back hunting again after that experience. But I told people about it. They thought I was smoking dope and doing mushrooms. I was full of shit,
Were you?
No, I think I shit it out. No, I tell you, it scared the hell out of me.
No doubt.
Just
Megan,
a scream where you feel your heart you think your heart's going to pop out of your chest. It's crazy.
Megan Richardson asked, "Hey Mogs, do you think Sasquatch would size up Paulie as an ADHD Sasquatch researcher?" Too funny,
I want to see
Megan.
Moggs walk.
It hurts
I want to see
laugh.
Moggs going down the trail, turns a corner, and there's one standing there 20 feet in front of him, 9 feet tall. That's what I want Moggs to have that kind of thing, and just stare at each other for a while, and then just peacefully walks off.
Yeah. That's how I'd want it to be, just.
Wait a minute, Patrick, I want you to fess up, because what I want you to fess up about is the very first time that you saw one. Because I remember hearing your encounter on another channel, and I very much appreciated you coming forward and talking about it. And I think the audience tonight deserves to know how you felt, how you reacted, and that very first encounter, long before all this studying and figuring it out for yourself,
I had a real problem. And honestly, I didn't realize how deep that ran. I mean, I had to repress it. It was such a disturbing memory. I repressed it. And this year, particularly, people wanted to pull it out and talk about it. And I talked about it on one show, and then the next week someone else wanted to talk about it. I talked about it on Beast channel, Mark Nubel's channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one, I wound up talking about it 4 times, and then I had a behavioral analyst pick up on it, and he sifted through it like you would with a flower strainer and every single little detail. And that brought back those 2 years that I didn't sleep after that encounter. I couldn't sleep for 2 years. It brought all that back. And so it started in February. So February, March, and April, I didn't really sleep. I think I had maybe 5 or 6 hours a week of sleep because of that. And it was disturbing.
Right. And from then to now, how have you managed to work through that to be able to go back into the same patch of woods and different patches of woods? And how do you put that in a box in your mind somewhere? And, I'm just curious because, I had one slap my tent when I was in my 30s camping alone, and I just won't go camping alone anymore. I used to love going camping alone.
Yeah, well, Charles, you got to look at it this way. If they wanted to get you, you would have ripped that tent up and taken you with them.
Yeah, well, all night long they were outside of my tent. Okay.
Yeah, well, you got to go out there and bitch at them, I guess.
Well,
but what I'm curious about, sorry, Patrick, is why put it in a box at all? Deal with it.
Okay, well, mine was very violent, and it had some canines. It was definitely aggressive. It made sure I saw, it just made sure I saw it. I was not more than, I don't know, 8, 10, 12.
I didn't mean to sound like a dick just now.
No, but maybe he was guarding a little one, or there was a nursery there or something,
Well, it's been my experience that it's a culmination of things. It's not one thing that I can lay my hand on and say this makes it go away and it's okay. One thing is that studying the behavior, they will try to intimidate you. Intimidation is what they will use against you more so than any violence. Murder is not on their list of things to do. They have rules of engagement.
And flight, if you're fleeing, you can almost kill yourself trying to get away from them. You know, I really learned that.
I won't run in the dark. If you know, I've stood my ground with them in the dark because I couldn't see to run. And I have our technology. You know, they're not impressed with us at all. We are the weaker species physically.
Neither am I.
But yeah,
they are leery of our technology. You know, they don't like our technology. They don't like our technology in our hand. You know, because you know they don't like cameras. And it's my thing is, you know, people look through cameras to shoot them. Well, they look through guns too. Okay, so anything in our hands, they don't really like it. So you can put something in your hand, and a lot of times they'll turn. They might not go away, but they'll turn and go off from you and watch. You know, and I've stood my ground in the dark.
They don't like cameras anyway. They're amazing at avoiding trail cams.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been videoing geese lately, and the geese, you know, the minute I've got my phone up videoing them, they're backing off. I mean, they view that as a weapon.
Gun shy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do
there's
you
no
think
one thing I can put my hand on it.
cameras would work better?
What was that, 7?
Do you think the old-timey cameras would be a bit, you know, because during the days Patty's footage was shot, okay, that was an old-timey camera.
Oh, and an actual cellulose
8
film.
millimeter.
Yeah, I mean, do you think people would have a better chance using something like that?
I have used theory, and for myself, proven theory that they know technology's there. How they know they're there is I'm deriving different hypotheses from that. But they do know tech is there. You cannot put a piece of electronics in the woods without them knowing about it. I've tracked them avoiding trail cams. And how they knew that trail cam was there, I don't know, but I've tracked them avoiding trail cams on that same tracking expedition with where that young man was screamed at.
So do you think there's a frequency that, you know, how you walk into a TV store and you hear that high-pitched hum of all the TVs
Yeah, everything gives off a frequency.
You know,
That's funny that we talked about that, Pro, when I was at your house.
Yeah,
that same exact thing.
Everything gives off a frequency, you know.
Well, I've camouflaged it and buried in and with tree bark where there is just a hole of my camera sticking out, and they can walk up and pick it out. I tracked them up to behind it. Okay, they walked
they're
up
probably
behind
hearing
it, looked at it, and went around. So I don't know if it's smell. I don't know if it's sense. I don't know if it's sight. If they smell me doing it, and they actually track me putting this out, because they're great trackers, you know.
Do you mind speak with them? Are you participating in telepathy with them?
I know someone that claims to do that. I only had one very strange episode, and I don't know what to think of it. It was strange enough to where I can't dismiss it. I don't dismiss really anything. There's just, there's different files, things go in, and as a study progresses, then you're like, oh, okay, that goes here. But I had an image of a Sasquatch tear into my dreams when I was asleep, just the day before I went to South Central Arkansas, same place I'm going now. And I mean, that type of sleep where you're dead asleep, you don't even know you're asleep, you're just out. And then in your subconscious sleep, something tears into that darkness and says, hey, I am the alpha. Do not come up here. And then steps back out. And that's kind of hard to interpret.
Wow. Okay. And you're talking with a person who, I've had paranormal things happen to me the majority of my life. So, I mean, I've been visited by reptilians. I mean, wake me up from a dead sleep.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of paranormal experiences in my lifetime, and some of them are. It's still hard to talk about.
Well,
Well, I got a
I
ghost in my house, so
I try not to put things out there. I can discuss things in theory, or because to me it was either a dream or it was something that was real. I don't know which, but it's hard for me to discuss things like that without having a real fact based. What I discuss is fact based, and for me to say my dream was real is difficult for me.
Well, I'll give you a small example of just a very odd experience. I was driving back from almost Baton Rouge one day, and just before you get to Laplace from Baton Rouge, there's exits, yes, but there's no place that. All of a sudden, my truck, I vanished. I was going from Baton Rouge. I was I just left the Gonzales exit. Okay. I had just dropped off my son. I was coming back from there and headed towards, I was headed towards where I live now in South Mississippi. And, my entire vehicle was picked completely up off the ground. And within the blink of an eye, now, surely some of you know exactly where Baton Rouge is. And Gonzales is 20, 30 miles east of Baton Rouge. And I had just left Gonzales. I was going down the interstate. And within the blink of an eye, and I mean the blink of an eye, my truck landed on Highway 49 in Mississippi, just south of Jackson, Mississippi. And it happened within less than a moment. Okay. And I was pretty freaked out. I watched myself land on the highway. I mean, I've got yeah, I have a pickup truck, and I pulled over to the nearest service station, and I just sat there in my truck a while, and I looked at the clock, and barely a minute had passed, and no gas was missing from my tank. Now we are talking literally hundreds of miles I traveled in less than a minute. I've had odd things like that happen to me in my lifetime. And so I don't dispute transcendental meditation. I don't dispute telekinesis. I don't dispute mental telepathy. I don't challenge people who say, well, they do, because I'm a person who's had one too many experiences that I just couldn't explain. I believe in creator. I believe in Yeshua. I believe in God. Did God lift me off the planet and set me down somewhere else to save my life? Did the military use partly the Philadelphia experiment? The technology of the Philadelphia experiment, and were using me as a teleportating victim. I'll never know just exactly how it happened. All I know is I went into that gas station. I asked the lady, I bought something to drink. I was pretty freaked out. And I said, excuse me, just where am I? And she said, well, you're just south of Jackson. She looked at me like I was crazy when I asked the question, of course. And then I sat in my truck, I know, for about an hour, gathering.
just wait.
I was badly unnerved. I'll never be able to explain it.
I'm coming home.
I mean, I don't. So when people, are on other people's channels and they're telling these stories, what I'm gathering is that if someone has not been exposed or lived it or experienced it. No, they can't walk a mile in your moccasins. And pardon the expression, I wouldn't wish that experience on anybody. So I do ask questions if people are using mental telepathy. Are they mind speaking with other beings? Because to me, that's a no-no. And if I am, I'm busy discerning the spirit. I'm going to ask questions I want to, and it may provoke them. I'm that bold and brazen to where in my mind, I'm going to mind speak. All right, either you're going to bow to Yeshua, okay, or you're going to dispute Yeshua. But I demand you give him eternal allegiance right now. And Patrick, I want you to know that the majority of the times that I've seen things in life and I've confronted them that way, well, they just vanish. Okay. Just outright vanish. There's times when my house was slapped. I had a squatch howl not too far off from the house. And and it slapped my house later. I still wonder if it's the same one that decided to greet me when I was a young girl. And of course, I'm verbal, I'm vocal, I'm gonna speak out. But there is a thing called spiritual speaking. I am part Native American, and I'm very careful as to how I do it, and I'm very careful as to what I say. And I don't let them into my mind. Okay, I protect my mind. I was raised by a father that said never, ever, ever let anyone brainwash you, ever. And he was half Native American, and he was half-blooded. And he died when I was a very young girl. I was not more than 9 years old when he passed. But he made sure that I always knew, don't ever let anyone brainwash you. Your mind is a very powerful thing. You only use maybe a tenth of what you possess in your mind. Okay, so, and that being said, and yes, we know Squatch are intelligent. I mean, that's being proven by leaps and bounds by lots of people. And so therefore, I really believe they are able to tap into what we ourselves can't fully tap into. And I think they have some of that higher intelligence.
Well, experiences speak to the person who's having the experience. And not coming up through the ranks of the Bigfoot community and just kind of stepping into it, I had zero information of anything that was in this community. I just knew what I had studied. And so when you come in and you have all this thrown at you, all I could do was put it on a pegboard and then work through the formula until I found a place for that to fit. And people have experiences and they're unexplained, and I'm open-minded. I can't say someone didn't have an experience, because I had a very disturbing experience that I didn't think I would ever have and never really wanted to. So, there are things that come off that pegboard and get put in place because the formula demands it, like cloaking. That's the one thing I thought I would never ever run into. But cloaking, a lot of people say cloaking, they think of it as like on Star Trek, the bird of prey completely goes invisible and it's not there or whatever. What I saw was the hair. I hit I hit the thing with a spotlight, and its hair did not refract light back for my eyes to perceive to be able to see it, although its eyes were there and it was still there. And so I completely understand the cloaking thing that people say they cloak, but they don't disappear. They're still there. It's just at night with artificial light, you can't see them. And so, which is disturbing. That's absolutely disturbing.
People, some will tell you outright, those are shapeshifters.
Well,
yeah.
I was tracking this one. So it was definitely a Bigfoot. And
Excuse me, I'm going to have to get off here. I can't sit like this anymore. I'm
All right,
starting to
Scotty, thank
swear.
you so much for coming on, man.
it
Hey,
was
thank
nice
you
meeting you,
guys.
Scotty.
I'll come on again and talk
Yeah,
to you
anytime
guys.
you want to come on, man. Absolutely.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Good to
Take
meet
care,
you,
Scotty.
Scotty.
Good to see you. Pleasure.
Yep.
Moggs, when are we going to get to hear about this encounter, man? I can't wait. Is this guy coming on?
Yeah, he's on the road right now. I want to get him on as soon as possible, since it's still fresh. I mean, it only happened 4 days ago. So it's just, it kind of trips me out, just because as soon as he got on the phone, once we figured out we could hear each other, I could hear it in his voice that something wasn't right. And the way he said it, he was like, I saw one. I saw two. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. I said, you talking Bigfoot? He's like, yeah. I said, no shit. Where? I got excited. And I even though I could hear that he is, a little unnerved about it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was interesting conversation. I was like, no shit. Because I know where he was. I know the area.
Yeah.
How many times have you tried to call him since then?
I text him. Well, when the dogs fought, that's when I lost him on the phone. But I text him once today early. I said, "Are you okay?" Just checking up on him. And then I said, if you want to come on the show, let me know. He was on the road, but it took him a while to get back to me. So it was kind of like, well, okay.
He's going to be processing that for a while.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. It was just funny because he's like, "What? How are they walking around out there?" I'm like, dude, that's what they do. I mean, but I understood where he was coming from with the question because that's his shift. That's what he has to deal with. He has to because they're there, dude. They're there.
Well, as you were telling it, I was listening to it, and I'm like, oh my God, and then you talked about him when he first saw him and they squatted. And
when they came down the hill, and just before he squatted, I guess he actually saw what it was. And he had yelled out, "We're fishing here," because at first he thought it was hunters. And then when they saw him, they just squatted. Like the bigger one pushed the little one behind, just kind of scooched it behind itself and then just squatted down. And he said it kind of just after a minute or two you couldn't tell because it was starting to get dark, but it didn't move, it didn't make a sound until after dark, and then it moved away. So
see the behavioral of it, the behavioral side of it. The behavioral side of it adds up, absolutely adds up. And from your friend's perspective, when you see that and your stomach turns a little bit and you feel really, really small and a little insecure. I felt that as you were telling that. I mean, that's a great story. I can't wait to see the guy on there.
All right. And, when I was young and saw the one I saw, it took me over an hour to just tell my own brothers what I'd seen. And of course they laughed, but they didn't believe me.
Yeah, that was immediately after, I'm sure.
I was bloody from head to toe, and I made it to the couch home and safe, and that was miraculous in itself. But it was a whole hour of and I mean, I just couldn't get the words out, Moog. So I'm in agreement with Patrick. It may take him a while to process that. Even though it was at a distance, it's just, and
I think it was around 65 to 70 yards was when they finally squatted down. So
our minds are not ready to process it. I mean, that's just not something we readily process.
But it was already in his wheelhouse, the possibility. He looked for him. He So
But
don't be
look,
surprised if you find one. You're out there looking for them. If you're not expecting to
Yeah.
find one, what are you out? Just hiking? You just sticking around out there? You know
well,
what I
it is
mean?
be careful what you wish for
Yeah.
kind of thing, because it just might happen.
I blame my arrogance and my ignorance and my self-righteousness as a man in the woods and hard-headedness. All those things compounded together is what made the transition so difficult.
Well, my mom used to call that macho shitheadism, Patrick. But I understand it.
It's foolish pride.
Well, men are
Well,
men
I grew
men
up.
are raised to be hunters, I mean, men are predators, let's face it. Okay, it's not,
Well,
and yeah,
I grew up
nowadays
in
they're
the woods.
predators. Look out, fellas,
Yeah.
But I think
I
it's
mean, I grew up hunting.
Meredith says Mogs would walk by and say, "Hi, how's the fishing?"
I believe
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, probably.
yeah. I don't know. Patrick, yeah, and I just we're all different. We're all going to process it differently when we have an encounter, and every encounter is different. And what bugs me is how you can be with a group. I listen to a lot of encounters. I didn't come forward with my encounter till maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. Okay, and I've shared that with Carrie. Yeah, and I was grateful that I'd actually met somebody that lives the same state I do that actually saw one. Okay, only to discover the kind he saw. He's saying, that the kind I saw is very different than the kind he saw. Well, maybe so. Okay, maybe so. And then you've got Duke, and he's studying giants, and they're huge, and they're pure bloods, and he himself has seen a violent, aggressive one. So, I mean, people are all different in their encounters. And with the thousands and thousands and thousands of encounters on everybody's channel, and with the emails that everybody's receiving, I mean, that is in the tens of thousands now,
Oh yeah.
and it's not just a matter of if one person, is busy telling the truth. Nowadays,
Yeah.
it's if thousands and thousands, and so, I've raised the question: do you think they're still interbreeding with humans?
I don't know.
How are they
I heard
multiplying?
Squatch erotica. I heard Squatch erotica was a thing, so I don't know.
Well, now
But
come on, nobody's ever seen anybody mate. That no one has ever seen two squatch mating.
I've never got it on with a Squatch myself. I
Which
can't speak
one?
for anybody else.
No, now
Nick.
Patrick, I said squatch mating. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Okay, I heard something else. Well, seriously,
Wow.
as a all jokes aside, going out and in search of, and you have to be heads up. Okay, from my training from young, when I was young training as tracking, going out and meditating and listening, close my eyes and listening to the forest and discerning all the audible noises all the way out till you hear the static that is in the ambient noise as far as your ears can reach, and holding on to that as you move through the woods. And when something breaks that static that you hear out there, that hum, it brings you in tune. And so when you get into an encounter, so you walk up on one and you're in an encounter, the place to go is to crisis management. Your head's up, your eyes are wide open. You're thinking about your surroundings, the topography around it, how it can use the topography against you. crisis management mode is where I go to during an encounter so that I don't hurt myself. You know.
Well, that's really smart because I mean, you got to look up. You got, and Patrick, have you ever, I mean, there's a lot of people going squatching, and their mind is all down on following the tracks and seeing the signs of branches breaking. I mean, I was raised partly in the Ozark Mountains, so I might know just a wee bit about tracking and whatnot. But
Well,
people are concentrating.
yeah.
They're holding those gimmels, and they're concentrating on tracks. And what you're talking about, I thoroughly understand, because I mean, you do have to walk through the woods as if you were blind. Okay, all the other senses need to be in tune. You've got to be able to shut that off. And a lot of people are squatching, and they're watching tracks, and they're busy talking while they're doing it, and they've got the gimbal going. Well, in the meantime, there could be a whole bunch going on around them, and they'd never hear it. They'd never sense it. And I do wonder about that. That's the indigenous person in me. I mean,
Well, my family's off the res in Oklahoma, but the one thing I learned about investigations, I say one thing. There's multiple one things about investigation, but running in there with technology, they don't like technology. I couldn't get anything with technology. So what I did is I just strapped an iPhone and walked in tracking, and trying to, instead of solving the problem from the outside in, going in and having experiences and making observations to be able to discern out what their behaviors are and how they use the land and how they survive and solve the problem from the inside out. That was helpful to me.
And the other night on a show, Moggs, he shared with us that he was given a hard time because he himself wasn't packing. He didn't have a gun, and Moggs.
Well, no, I was getting a hard time because other people were packing. I was like, because like I said, we approached it. We didn't go in trying to sneak in. I'm not there smoking a cigarette. So are other people. Just to, we're out there. We're not trying to hide it from these things. And people did carry guns, pew-pews, whatever you want to call them. I know you get, flagged on for saying certain words here. But yeah, I mean, there's other shit out there you got to worry about. There's alligators and hogs and snakes and
snakes.
Yeah,
there's tons of shit out there.
I go in with depending on who's with me, because my main goal is safety. That's my main goal, is getting everybody out safe. So if I have people with me who I may be concerned with, I may have something on me, but by myself, just partners, also a primitive living skills instructor, I carry a knife. And I tell him, if something goes down, get the truck, I'll handle it. Just get to the truck, get some help and find my body, and please recover my knife, because it's going to be stuck in whatever's got me.
That right. Duke was telling us that, some of his take katanas with them, can't say it's a blame them, and I really believe that they can jump serious heights. Okay. I just believe that they can really jump some serious heights. And what I was getting at is people are looking down while they're going through the woods tracking, because they're studying tracks, and hopefully one of their buddies, hopefully they're not alone, and somebody's busy, on a swivel, hopefully somebody's busy looking.
I'd say at least a quarter of the, sorry, Patrick, when I was filming it during the expedition, at least a quarter to a third of my filming was in the trees. I was up and I was watching those trees.
Right. I mean, I
That's
won
good.
many a bet by going up a tree and telling somebody they couldn't release a dog and that dog was part wolf and they wouldn't find me in
Oh,
15 minutes time. I hope he comes back. Thank you,
no, he's
Pat.
here. He's just
But yeah, I placed a $100 bet they wouldn't find me in 15 minutes, even with the dog. Dog stopped under my tree 3 times, and only the third time did the dog look up, and the person that claimed to be a hunter finally looked up and followed what the dog was looking at.
hmm.
And
Well,
it was me. That was an easy $100 bill that day.
well,
I'm
perceptional
on.
blindness is perceptional blindness is a very real thing, and if you study it, it helps out a lot. I had two very esteemed, woodsmen. I was blatant like a deer, and they looked all around me and never saw me because they're looking for a deer. So it was their perception that blinded them.
Well, I agree with that. And, I had two really mean brothers who were always pulling tricks on me. I mean, they put snakes in my bed when I was a kid, and oh, yeah, I got them back. That's all right. I made their
Oh,
bed.
wow.
One of them bed up with peach fuzz one night before they went to bed. And I mean, I lined it good. I used to pick peaches up in Missouri, at my aunt's farm. They used to own the largest orchard in America. And oh, yeah, I kind of lined his sheets real good. And he didn't, oh, yeah. He'd come up out of that bed about 3 in the morning, screaming, heading for a shower. And for those of y'all who don't know, peach fuzz that you scrape off peaches, it comes out in the shedder when you've been picking peaches. For those that don't know, that's as itchy as fiberglass. And I mean, yeah,
Oh,
he
wow.
never put another snake in my bed. So I had some really mean brothers that were training me as a kid. It wasn't be kind to little sister. It was do anything you can to little sister. Okay. I mean, there's a day they tied me up to a tree one day, so I couldn't follow them. Oh, they were horrendously mean.
I'm almost glad I didn't have any brothers.
Well, that's all right. It made sure I
Yeah.
didn't take anything off of any guy ever. With it,
Well, guys, it has been a
go.
blast, but I'm fixing to have to get to bed.
Well,
I
thank you, Pat.
appreciate it.
Patrick, thank you so much for popping on. I appreciate it. And, you're more than welcome anytime to pop on, man.
All right. Thank you very much.
Patrick, forgive me for plugging you with so many questions, but I really thought the audience deserved to hear an awful lot of what you had to say. And
I'm not going to ask those questions.
I don't mind. My goal is to put awareness out about these beings because so many dismiss it, but I know they're there. I know they're there. I know they're there. I have hunters that drive their 4-wheelers over their tracks, going to their stands, and never notice. So,
sure.
Well, I mean, I know
awareness.
when they come around my house, Patrick. I mean, it's something a knower senses. You feel it, you sense it. It's unmistakable. That's just it's a feeling once you've had that feeling, that feeling. It's not something you're ever gonna shake.
Well, I equate it.
Same.
I equate it to you go to a car lot and you find the coolest, best colored car you can find, and you buy it, and you're driving down the road like, man, I've never seen this before, and then you pass one, and then within a week you've seen a dozen of them. That is what it is when you see a squatch and you know it's there and you know the signs of it. Once you see that one, that's all it takes.
Yep. Well, I'm in agreement with that.
But it's been fun, guys. I appreciate y'all being on, y'all letting me come on, and I hope I didn't take up too much time.
No.
We
still got 15 minutes left.
Y'all be good.
Take care, Patrick. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, chat.
That was fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for coming up with those questions, because like I said, I wouldn't ask them.
Well, I'm real
No, I
inquisitive.
love it. I love it.
I'm gonna ask
I'm just
questions.
sitting here going, "You go, girl."
Well, and what I shared about being teleportated, that was no joke, Monks. That's one of the
I
freakiest
didn't say it was.
experiences I've ever had, and I don't ever want it happening again.
I
You
still
know,
think it was weird sitting in your kitchen and you're actually, I don't need these now. Yeah, sitting in your kitchen and you're standing on my right and you started to talk. Do you remember this? And I heard something coming from the left that I said it sounded like a cat almost, but there was no cat there. It was like I thought somebody said something. It was weird, but I don't know.
well, I've had a lot of things happen in this home, and maybe you and I will talk at length about it, and I'll share it with you because at the time that it happened, I have to confess, yes, I felt it. Yes, I saw something lunge, and I mean lunge, and yes, in the house, and yes, exactly where you saw it. And I didn't reveal that to you right away. I didn't really know how to process it. I have had so many strange things happen to me that I still have a hard time talking about. And and then ironically the very next night a cat decided to fight right outside the screen door. Wow! And I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was weird. I've had it didn't freak me out or anything. I've had experiences. That's what my experiences have been paranormal, but it was just unexpected because I heard you talk on my right, and then at the left at the same exact time, I heard that noise, but it was a different. It was that was weird.
It was a presence, yes. It was. And I'll not deny it. Have we freaked you out down in chat yet? Okay. What's their comments, Moggs? I'm curious. Am I being thrown under the
How
bus?
about that? Nothing really. People got their own thing
Well,
going on in chat.
and Polly and Scotty, it was good to see you, and thanks for the opportunity to meet them too, Moggs. Thank
Oh,
you.
absolutely. Yeah,
Great.
I was glad Scotty B came on and an itch. Paulie's always funny.
Yes, he is. He's a kid.
I think sometimes he tries too hard, but it just keep trying.
Well, laughter's really good medicine.
What's
Uh,
that?
I said laughter's very good medicine.
Oh, absolutely. It's the best medicine, according to Reader's Digest.
When you were fishing and that tree branch just decided to come crashing,
That was crazy.
I know where your mind went at that moment.
Oh, no, I was excited. And I was like, because I wasn't looking, the tree was right in front of me. And I'm looking down fishing and I heard it. And my first thought was, here we go. And then I look up and it was way up in the tree. So it wasn't, if it was down lower, I would have been all, I got excited and then I was like kind of disappointed.
Okay, but did you hear any footfall?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm so inquisitive. I'm going to ask questions. I've been exposed to so much in life that, yes, I ask people questions.
No, and it's questions are good because, I sometimes I come up with them, sometimes I don't. So, yeah, I love when people come on that enjoy asking questions. And chat is always amazing for questions. And it's funny because I never once tonight said, "Hey, if anybody's got a question, put it in caps."
I've been wanting an
we should know
opportunity
better by now. No.
to talk with Patrick because, yes, I mean, advising people to be calm, cool, and collective is one thing, yes. But I wanted him to share that very first encounter because that reaction is, we're all going to react in different ways. No matter who you are, you're going to react in a different way. Every encounter is different. Every encounter is unique.
Sure.
And no two are the same. And, I guess my mind always wonders, okay, is it the one I heard down the street hollering, and slapping my house? Is that the same one? I mean,
From
I
your
think
childhood.
those
Yeah.
get tagged, I just really think they do. I think they know that we know. So yeah, they got to come around and let us know, hey, we're around, and it's a club that you can't, once you're in it, like your friend, he's never going to erase that from his mind.
No,
And
but
he's going to have a million questions in his mind, Mom. That we
but
don't.
he
I'm an empath. I have compassion for people.
I know, I realize that, but he also is it I keep saying it's part of his paradigm. I keep using that word, paradigm. I like that word. It's because it's, it was already part of it. Now it's really part of it. It wasn't like he went in blind. He just finally found what he was looking for.
It was the aha moment. That's right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I think he'll be all right with it. I'll stay in touch with him, of course, and make sure see how he's doing. And I want him to come on. He said he wanted to come on. He's just like I said, he's on the road. So
Well, if there was a mother and there was a child, a juvenile, yeah, how far away was the sentry? How far away was the alpha? I always wonder about
yeah,
that when people see,
no idea.
And for him to actually see a female, yeah, I think that's kind of rare. I think it's really rare to actually catch a female and see, to actually catch sight of a female. I think that's somewhat rare. Okay, I know it happens, but I mean, that really had to freak him out pretty bad, even though his mind was what he's been searching for. It was a quest, and it's something he really wanted to know. I think his mind's going to be processing that for quite some
Oh yeah,
time.
he also said it wasn't what he expected. And I was like, what did you expect, dude? And he's like, well, like the movies, or I think he was looking for something more traumatic, or
Oh, he
it
didn't
was
expect to see them peacefully.
yeah, no, it was a peaceful encounter. It was a sighting. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. There was no interaction or anything.
And he's probably kicking himself that he didn't get a picture.
He didn't have his phone.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because by the time he got out, like a day and a half later, out of the woods and got to his phone and got it turned on and charged, I was the first one he called. He was gonna he waited probably like 3 hours because he said he was gonna call me at 5 a.m. my time, which put it 2 a.m. his time. So it was just, I'm glad he called.
And you said he stayed out in the woods that night as well.
Yeah. He camped out that night, and his buddy had left, and he stayed out that night. So he'll be all right.
That was brave in itself for someone to actually, that's courage.
Yeah.
My mind, because I'm a knower and because I've actually seen an aggressive one, I'd be thinking, okay, well, where there's one, there's more. And gee, I hope had I been him and in his moccasins, I'd have been thinking, well, I hope the alpha doesn't come around and visit me while I'm asleep tonight, and say, this is my fishing territory.
Well, I think that, oh, that's a good question. Hold on. Mogs, if you hear something tomorrow, will you go live? Yeah, actually I would. Because I know I get a signal there because that's where I went live the last time.
Oh, that's
So yeah, I would, Sandy. That's a great idea.
all right, Moggs. You know,
Didn't mean to cut you off.
Thank you, chat, for enduring me tonight, and thank you very much, Moggs. I'll bid you adieu, and yes, I'm sure everyone in chat wants to hear from you. You know, you're so good at reading the chat, seeing who's there, and you just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you very much for the opportunity to
Well,
be
thank
here.
you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Anytime.
Good night. Sweet
Good night,
dreams.
hon. Wow, that was a. Where the fuck did 2 hours go? Yeah, once everybody popped on, we just blew through that 2 hours. Wow. And definitely thank you everybody for showing up tonight and coming on tonight. You guys are awesome. You know, Scotty, great to see you. Patrick, thank you. Paulie, you know, Seven Pearls, of course. I'm sure I'm missing someone. Lurchers. What does that mean? Mogs doesn't mind lurchers. She had mentioned lurcher, and I'm not sure what she meant, but I know that I heard something there. But Iron Dogger, what's happening, girl? Good to see you. Hey, Ida. Sorry, I missed some of you guys. Chris, still crazy, Chris. Hilton, what's happening, man? Yeah, thank you, Sandy. So thank you so much. It did turn into a good show. And I was just, I mentioned to Lynn earlier before I came on, and I think I mentioned Stevie at one point. I when I started this, I figured, I got to get guests on, so I book guests, and then I'd wing it. And we do that for months. And then I'd go, I got to get guests on. I get guests. We're winging it again. And, I keep feeling like I should be booking guests and shit. But I think the way we're doing this is really, it works. And thank you guys. You took what I said to heart earlier about, getting to know people and having you guys come on. And that was awesome. For Scotty to come on and everybody that came on. That's the way I want this to go. I want to meet you guys. I want you guys to meet each other. And let's keep it going, I think that's great. Yeah. Mr. Lee 3PO says, Mogs, it's better like this. Yeah, you know what it is? It's my fear that I'm going to get stood up. We're all going to get sitting here for 2 hours and have to talk for 2 hours. Because in my head, I'm like, how the hell am I going to fill 2 hours worth of time? So that's my hang up on it. Absolutely, Johnny. Your channel, your way. Right on. I'm still trying to figure it out. You'd think after a year I'd have it figured out. I guess I do. Fuck. Shit keeps scrolling. I keep hitting the wrong things. I have it figured out, and I also have, I know I want to do some more things. I'm bringing up, my camera equipment tomorrow when I go up to that property, and indeed, whoever said it, I can't see who said it, but I'm going to find out. Tony, what's up, man? Mogs, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I kind of live by that. But every once in a while, you have to tune up an engine, and it's bad analogy, but yeah, I do. I know I want to do some other things and put some more stuff out there. Now that I'm getting more into the searching part, and I'm getting out there, it'll I'll have more stuff to put out. It's just I have, a lot on my mind. Marvelous Mogs, huh? Thanks, Lee. Anyway, guys, we are at that 2-hour mark. Again, thank you so much for coming out tonight, everybody that showed up. Thank you to my mods. Hey, if you guys like this show tonight, hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe. Share if you're so inclined. Fishing with Moog, Chev. You know what? I I want to do a fishing show. I have some things in my head, and it'll probably be called Monster Fishes. That'll play on it. But yeah, I'll figure it out. We'll get things going. Jenny, thank you so much. All right, guys. You know how I like to babble. Again, thanks a lot, and I will see you guys 2 days. All right? Until then, behave. And if you can't behave, be good at it. All right, guys. Peace and God bless.